Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 77 of Hello, the podcast with me, Jenz and Raammo.
Hello.
Hello. How you
Welcome.
doing?
Hello. I'm doing great. It is
Oh.
37 degrees outside, and
Oh.
I'm comfortably inside with the aircon on. So I'm doing great. Yeah.
That's good. That's
But
good.
how about you? How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
another day, another dollar, as they say.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. You were working today as well, weren't you? You did a stream earlier, I think I saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
came back from work?
I was, working. But it's all right though, because it wasn't that busy and it was double time and a half today. So
Oh, we love that.
I'll take those. Yep.
I guess it's like sunny, so people are at the beach or something.
That's
Nice.
And that's where I would have been. Honestly, if I wasn't working today, I had some friends that were going to the beach and they were like, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm working."
Yeah.
But I totally would have gone and probably burnt myself to no end.
But
So
it would have
probably
been
was a good
so
thing that I didn't
busy
go,
and
you know.
like I bet it'd be annoying.
I did see some of the B-reels go off and I was like, "Oh, maybe it was kind of a good thing," because it was. It looked like they were packed. So it's And then obviously as well trying to line up for lunch and things like that, little chip shops and like, so it was probably just not
a
worth
lot
it,
of places will be open. Oh, it'd been a mess.
probably not. Yeah, nah. So probably not worth it. But we just don't really like to celebrate this day as well. you know? Like, so it is what it is. But I guess, Jens, before we get into the news, because we don't have a lot this week again, it is, again, one of the slower parts of the year for sorts of announcements and things like that. Just catch up. What have you been playing recently, man? Other than Siege? Anything other than Siege?
Anything other than
right?
Siege?
Surely something.
You go.
There's gotta be something.
I don't.
What have I been playing?
Oh, I
don't
played
think I've
this
been playing
horror
much.
game called Fears to Fathom, which
Okay, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
I think you would have heard of it, but it's like
Yeah, it
this
sounds familiar. Yeah.
game, and it's about real life scary stories. So it's like it's like a Reddit story, and then they kind of made it into a game.
Yeah, okay.
That was cool. That was really trippy. I didn't finish it. They're about an hour each episode. There's 3 episodes.
Whoa, damn, an hour.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But it's cool because
that's a decent time at least, yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool because like the way they do the storytelling is it's like, oh, I heard a knock at the door, and then in the game it's like you hear the knock. It's kind of like that's how they do the story in it, and it's like you're reading the Reddit story through, but you're also living through it, and it's kind of cool idea.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Those some of those Reddit stories are really good. Like, as much as they're probably like all made up,
I wonder.
They're still really good stories, like, because I've seen, I've read some of those spooky ones on there. So, but it's but I what have I been playing this week? Honestly, Marvel Snap. I honestly think that's about it. I've been watching Emma play The Last of Us a fair bit. And I have been playing a little bit of Assetto Corsa, actually.
I saw
bit.
that. I was so shocked when I saw you playing that.
Yeah, I've been grinding out some Assetto Corsa.
Was it good?
VR as well though, because it adds just a little bit of extra realism to it. It's quite fun,
Okay.
Like, but I'm not that good of a driver yet, so I haven't, done
it does
too
take
much
some
other
time.
tid just like practice modes, but it does. It takes a little bit to sort of get your
especially with how realistic it is.
Yes. Yeah. But I got also the original Assetto Corsa as well, because I'm going to mod the shit out of that, because apparently that's really good for mods and things. So I was like, okay, interesting. I'll give that a go.
Do a little bit of hacking?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit, But no, other than that, just a shit ton of Marvel Snap.
Yeah. Classic.
Same, different week.
Yeah, sorry, listeners. We're kind of boring.
We are. We can't. Yeah, we stick to our guns. We don't branch out that much. We probably should branch out a bit more, but
we will.
Yeah.
It's just there's not a lot happening right now. Although that being said, on the day of you guys listening, Dead Space the remake is out, which I'm very excited about. But also, even better, GoldenEye. It's coming to
I'm very excited about.
Yeah, GoldenEye on Xbox Game Pass?
Yes, Game Pass. I don't know if it's coming out on Switch at the same time, question mark.
Ooh.
But it wouldn't surprise me if it's just around the corner as well for like the Nintendo Switch Online thing. You gotta have like the premium version of it though, not just the standard one. But yeah, apparently GoldenEye is coming out today, the day that you're listening to it. So if you're like me and you haven't played GoldenEye since, like, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s,
Since you were a
and it was
wee
kind of what you
little boy.
grew up on, I will most definitely be refreshing my Xbox client tonight, probably at 12 a.m. just to see.
Oh, really? You're
Just to
that
see
excited?
when yeah, honestly, just to see if it sort of comes up, because it's not gonna be a big download. Obviously, it's only gonna be a small one.
Yeah.
So, but I am that excited. I've honestly as well. Like Half-Life Alyx, you can mod Half-Life Alyx as well.
Yeah.
And people have remade the GoldenEye levels in Half-Life Alyx. And like I've downloaded those just to play it in like that's how much I love this game growing up.
Yeah.
Is I want to experience it in as many different ways as possible. So I will most definitely be checking that out. I don't know about Dead Space though, because I wasn't the biggest Dead Space fan when it initially came out, but I know that you'll be playing that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like horror, and I had a friend growing up who was obsessed with the Dead Space series, so I just want to, I want to see what it's all about, like what the hype.
Well, that's the thing is what sort of got me a little bit interested in it just today as well was one of the guys at work was like, "Are you going to pick up Dead Space tomorrow?" I was like, "Wait, shit, that comes out tomorrow?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, honestly, I wasn't the biggest Dead Space fan. You know, when I first played it, was like I kind of felt like it was just sort of jump scary, cheapy horror type.
That's what I always thought.
Type of stuff. And he was like, honestly, it was. That's true. But for its day, it was pretty good. And I was like, yeah, understandably, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me a little bit interested was apparently in this newer one, in the remake, they're making like the horror type elements more procedurally generated.
Oh,
so that
kind of like Alien.
each playthrough is going to be totally different to a sense.
Fun.
You know? And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, because that it's going to add an extra layer to it, you know?
Totally.
So it's that might get me a little bit interested in it. I might give it a go, because I did enjoy what I played of it. I just didn't stick with it because I was like, okay, yeah, it's kind of the same scares over and over again.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, I'm excited for both. I think it'd be really interesting. I'm excited more because I want to try GoldenEye, because it's like almost so many people who say, "What's your first gaming experience?" and people say GoldenEye. So I'm like,
it's one of those cult classics.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a rite of passage to have played GoldenEye, I feel. And so it is. Tomorrow is the day of remasters, because we're getting two different remasters. I didn't even realize, but yeah, look at that.
I'm wondering
so
how
the
games. Controls will be. Will it be?
They would have updated them for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Because I remember in the announcement that they did that obviously the Nintendo 64 controller only has one joystick, right? It doesn't have the dual sticks like what we're used to today. And so it does. It plays a bit weird on the original system. But they said in the announcement that they're obviously making it so that it can be used with a standard controller, modern controller. But you can also change it in the settings if you want to play it traditionally, how you used to play it, you know, almost 20 years ago. So, it's you got the best of both worlds again.
Yeah.
But yeah, very exciting. Two different, very, very different games from very different ends of the gaming spectrum. But we'll be giving them a go for sure.
It's gonna be a big weekend.
Now, speaking of big weekends, is also a big week for Xbox, Jens, because Xbox, like we sort of talked about a week or two ago, did actually hold their developer direct just today or yesterday. Whenever you're listening to us, it'll depend on the day that you're listening to it. But there were a couple of announcements. No real big surprises, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. Nothing out of the bag.
Which was kind of expected, I feel, because it's, again, obviously the kind of start of the year. They don't usually do like their giant, you know, groundbreaking announcements at the start of the year. They usually do them around the middle, when all the other studios also do their sort of announcements to try and compete against one another. So this was kind of just like, hey, remember this? We're still doing it. This is a little update on it type of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, nothing new. I'll go through all of them because there's only 5.
It was quite short. It was a little short announcement. It wasn't like, 3 or 4 hours long. It was just a cute little catch up type of thing. Yeah.
So the first one is Minecraft Legends, which is launching on April 18th, 2023. And this one, I'm still so curious how this one will play. I believe you can play up to 4 players on this, but I'm just curious how the gameplay aspect of this will be. I assume it's going to be Minecraft, but with like PvE.
Yeah, to a degree, it doesn't seem like it's set in the Minecraft universe, obviously, but it doesn't seem like it's going to play like traditional Minecraft, obviously. Similar to how Minecraft Dungeons uses, the
Yeah.
Minecraft sort of lore and the Minecraft, environments and things like that, but it's a totally different thing. This is kind of like what Minecraft Legends is going to be. So it is like an RPG, basically,
Yeah.
where you follow a story along to try and, save
Oh, I
the
see.
world from an evil, in a sense.
Yeah, right.
And it's something different. It's something funky. It's something fresh. I really enjoyed Minecraft Dungeons when they released that as well, and I still go back and play it like every once in a while. Not as much, but like every once in a while.
Yeah, it was fun.
Because it's just something different, that like still kind of works within the Minecraft world. And then, yeah, with this one as well, obviously similar to both Minecraft and Minecraft Dungeons, you can play it with up to 4 friends. You can do PvP battles as well against them if you wanted to. There's a whole bunch that you can kind of do in it. So yeah, this is definitely at the top of my list. I feel like for
Yeah.
this developer direct. I honestly I feel like you've written it in our read up right now in the exact order that I'm excited for things.
Oh, really?
I
No,
feel like
Elder Scrolls is
yeah.
there. You don't play Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't play Elder Scrolls, but still, yeah.
True. The next one that was showcased was Forza Motorsport, which I think is
Motorsport. Yep.
This is
Motorsport.
the 8th one, I think, or 7th. I can't remember. But
I think it's the 8th. I want to say.
Yeah, and the last one came out in
it.
2017 or something like that.
Yeah.
But they had this long and detailed video about Forza Motorsport, and the key things are, I think there was like 500 cars that you can get access to. There's a lot of like focus on the visuals of the game with like high detailed dirt, which apparently is very important.
True.
Damage and battle scars taken during the race that can build up on your digital cars, which is kind of cool. And also, obviously, the game's dynamic time of day and trackside vegetation, which they boasted about when they first spoke about this game.
Yes. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks good. Like honestly, that it's a small little thing, but it does look kind of fun.
Yeah. Cars are also expected to be more realistic and show off like physical behaviors like the suspension and the exhaust. So there's like a lot of emphasis on the sound and the feel of the cars to be more realistic, which I think is fun.
Yeah, it's good that they do this as well. Like they have the 2 different sorts of branches of Forza, where you've got obviously your more realistic Forza Motorsport, which takes care of like the hardcore kind of sim type races and things like that. And then you've got your Forza Horizon, which is for your more casual, just want to have a good time, race some cars around with some friends,
Yeah, Forza's kind of like, doing best of the both worlds. They've got 2. I've never really delved a lot into realistic racing, so I'm curious to see what this will feel like. I just remember playing Forza Horizon 5 and I loved the freedom of the game, and being able to play with your friends and just like drive around wherever you wanted was so good.
Basically, I don't even think we did much races. I think
we just drove.
Just sort of driving around, just vibing,
we did that the loop around the whole map a couple of times just to see who would win.
Yeah.
It was so good.
The 20-minute race.
Yeah, it was long.
Yeah.
Next up is Hi-Fi Rush, which you would never guess is made by the people who made The Evil Within. Because I just found out after I watched the trailer and I was shocked.
Yeah, right.
But Hi-Fi Rush is basically a rhythmic game that meets battles, so you like have to block and attack along the beat that they give you. Everything is on beat.
Yeah, okay.
It's interesting, but there is a lot going on.
There is,
there's a lot of colors and a lot of like moving lights and stuff. It was a lot. So I'm curious.
I mean, the art style is kind of funky as well.
Yeah, like I like the art style. I do like this art style. I do. I just think
it's kind of like a kind of cel shaded, kind of like, you know what I mean? It's we'll have a couple of these trailers up behind us for those that are watching the YouTube. so you can kind of see what we're talking about as well. But it is an interesting art style. But I'm glad that there's more of a resurgence in these rhythm type games sort of coming back these days, you know?
We don't have many of them.
No, because like we've had the Crypt of the Necro dances and things, kind of recently as well, which follow the same sort of concept where, battles take place in, the rhythm of the world that you're in. But this is a more 3D sort of realized version of, I guess, the same concept.
Yeah, and it's very obvious.
Yes, yeah, because obviously there's a giant ring that pops up in front of you to like showcase your time, and there's all that sort of stuff. So
my only worry is that what if it gets old, quick, or
yeah, true.
Because it'd be nice to have your freedom to do things, but maybe it's also really satisfying to go by the beat. Who knows? Like I'm very curious. To see how this plays. But if you are curious also, those listening, it is out now. And it's on Game Pass, so you can test it out there if you have that.
Go and give it a go. Yeah, I might download that after this.
Yeah, I'm curious just to see how it feels.
Yeah, something a bit different.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like we're in a lot of games these days. You see the trailer, okay, that looks exactly like last year's game.
It's like, that looks like this game. A bit different, Totally.
I guess talking about a game that looks very similar to something else.
Redfall.
Yes. I was going to say Elder Scrolls, but yeah, Redfall.
Well, both actually. Well, Elder Scrolls Online is an expansion that they have announced.
Yeah.
Called Necrom. As both of us are not Elder Scrolls peoples, all I'll say is that it's launching on June 5th, 2023. And that's for PC. And then June 20th for Xbox Series X/S. Oh, so it has a PC exclusivity, timed exclusivity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think they've done that in the past with some of their other expansions as well.
Yeah, right.
But it is kind of interesting that that's still kind of a thing, especially for something that is Xbox owned these days now. You would have thought that they still would have been doing, combined releases, I guess, for both, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And then the last game that was announced was Redfall, which is brought to you by the people who made Dishonored, Prey, and Deathloop, aka Arcane. And it's an open world sandbox FPS with 4-player co-op. It's pretty much not Last of Us. It's pretty much
ahead of yourself, Jenz.
Left 4 Dead meets zombies.
With vampires.
Vampires. Fuck, my brain.
Yeah. You're all... Bro, look, to be fair, it is later than what we usually record this podcast.
I'm not used to it.
It is the end of Jenz's day. She's normally in siege mode at the moment, which again is quite concerning of how, how tired she is when she's playing ranked siege, but,
Yeah, and I'm on these new meds and they're messing my brain. But, vampires. You're killing vampires in this game. You've got special abilities, like you can go invisible for a moment. You can throw like this teleporty thing, which comes from the Dishonored aspect of the developer. Stuff like that. There's like the 4 players that you get to play have their own abilities. So
yeah. Again, similar to kind of Left 4 Dead type of stuff.
Exactly.
They each kind of have their own perks. Yeah. But it seems kind of interesting. These types of games I've never been the biggest fan of, honestly, because I feel like, it's kind of just a rinse and repeat of more of the same stuff again. I'm hoping that it hits Game Pass at some point as well, because I'd be very interested in just giving it a go with a couple of mates just to see how it sort of plays out, But yeah, like honestly as well, when Redfall kind of was announced, I wasn't all that excited for it.
That's fair.
Like it didn't jump out to me, and it wasn't like, oh, I'll put that on my, like it was, I was like, okay, cool. It's a new game. It's something a little bit different from what from Arcane Studios have done before in the past. So, I guess they're getting to flex out and do something a little bit different as well, which is probably interesting for them, other than doing more of the same stuff. But yeah, they always make fun games as well. They always make quite underrated games as well. I feel like Dishonored and Prey kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. So it's
Yeah,
hopefully this is kind of their big one,
Hopefully. I do enjoy these types of games. I mean, they are very samey, and like it's the same formula, you know?
Yeah.
Get your loot and then go out, shoot, get to the next safe room, and then do it all again.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I don't know. I loved Left 4 Dead when I was growing up, and I also really enjoyed the latest one, Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood. That
yes.
one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I had weirdly so much fun with that.
Yeah, that was.
It was like challenging, but it was also, I don't know, it was very addictive. But
I guess there is just something cathartic about there not being too much to do, where you kind of just, you know, I guess mindlessly walk through, mow down some zombies or enemies, and then just move on to the next bit and do it all over again. I understand that probably something.
I think if it was really difficult, then it would be a nice like challenge aspect to it as well.
I mean, to be fair as well, when we played it, we didn't play it on like the hardest difficulty.
No, but it was still a challenge.
I think we played it on like the medium or the slightly one above medium, or whatever it was. For some of them, because some missions were just easy as shit. The other ones we did have to do a couple of times to try and figure it out. But likewise, I'll give Redfall a crack, like I gave Back 4 Blood a crack as well, just to see what it's like, you know.
And that's releasing May 2nd for Xbox Series X/S and Windows PC. It will be on Game Pass. I think all of these.
I would say so. I feel like most of the things these days that I see from Xbox will have the Xbox name on them. I just assume they're going to be on Game Pass almost, you know. So, yeah.
And that's sadly all the news we've got for you.
I can tell you've been haggling to get this out.
Oh, it's time to talk about Last of Us Episode 2.
Episode 2. Now, like last week, we're going to do the first little bit. We're going to do the spoiler-free take. So if you haven't seen the episode yet and just kind of want to hear our overall thoughts, you can stick around. But after that, we will go into our spoilers for the episode and what we thought about, you know, more nitty-gritty details. So obviously,
I think eventually we're probably going to have to stop the non-spoilers, because if you haven't watched it, you just
There's only so much as well that I can be like, this episode was good.
All we can say is that it's good.
That's what I
but I feel like that's going to be the running thing for this whole series, is like, yes, we like it. You should keep watching. You should watch it.
From what I've seen, it seems like it's going to be almost an A+ every week.
Yeah, so absolutely.
But no, I was going to say, like with the non-spoiler part this week, I had it on the way home.
Oh, sorry.
But no, it's there was one thing that I really liked. The pacing. I feel like the pacing for the show is a lot faster than what I experienced in the game. I don't know if it's just me, but like to the part we're up to in episode 2, again, I'm not going to spoil it so much, but to the part that I feel like it took me at least 5 hours to get to this part in the game, right?
Yes.
Or was it just me? Because I'm just a slow gamer.
No, but I totally get that. I think the pacing is great.
It's good. I'm not mad at the pacing. I'm just surprised at how fast
I think a lot of people
were
very surprised for the first episode of like
they
covered all of that in that episode.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Like, crazy. It makes me really curious on what else they're gonna cover or like go down on. Are they gonna show us like?
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like at the pace they're going by episode 4, we're gonna be at the end of the game.
Yeah, right? So I'm curious if they're gonna like branch out a little bit, or if they're gonna like just focus on the end bits of the game. Who knows?
I'm assuming as well, like that a lot of the showrunners have said leading up to this that they're going to utilize the show to flesh out some more of the characters that we maybe didn't get.
That's what I'm thinking. We're just going to get a bit more backstory.
And so I would really like to see them flesh out Bill maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Who they will more than likely come up against sometime soon.
Yep.
As well as again some of like the characters that we met at the end of the game. I would like to see a little bit more of those fleshed out as well. But I'm assuming too, because Emma did finish playing through part 1, like the entire game last night.
Oh, she finished it last night?
She started the DLC. Yeah, she finished it last night and she started the DLC. And I'm assuming as well that they will at some point touch on the events that happen in the DLC. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do take a whole episode or at least half an episode
about
to do like a flashback about Ellie and, you know, kind of her before she met up with the Fireflies and got put with Joel and things as well.
Yeah.
because that's not going to be like a 5-minute type of thing. That's going to be at least an episode, I would imagine. So yeah, and I'm assuming that's coming up sometime soon as well. But yeah, the pacing for me was just a big surprise. I felt like I physically don't know where they're going to end next week, like on episode 3. Like they could be halfway through the game by next week, for all I know. But yeah, that's what I thought about on the way home. I was like, man, yeah, okay.
Spoilers?
But other than that, another big great episode. I enjoyed it. Jen's enjoyed it. Let's just crack straight into the spoilers because there's no way we can beat around the bush anymore. All right, Jens.
Hang on, I'm trying to. Sorry.
That end scene.
Oh.
Tell me what you thought. Tell me. As soon as I saw that when I watched it last night, I was like, yeah, right, okay. That's the direction we're going. I get it. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love how fucking brutal this show is. Like,
yeah,
the fact that she just couldn't move and she just was that was just the way she went. It was gross. It was so gross.
It was disgusting. Yeah,
but I love that they did it. I love it.
Yeah,
and that was moment where they copied the game at Ellie at the concierge. That was really nice.
Dude, did you notice as well? I swear I got PTSD flashbacks or like it's something like that. But as soon as they went into the museum, it was literally
it was the same
one recreation. It was exactly the same. I was like, no way they did that. Like, there was not a single prop that was out of place in that scene. It was ridiculous.
It reminded me of the game, the frosted like glass through the displays. Yep. Oh, so good.
Like them crouching down behind the half height displays as well as the clickers kind of just moving around them.
Also, that first time you hear a clicker, oh
man, yeah.
I was so scared, and like most of the episode was like very quiet. And
it felt like it was like a side episode of A Quiet Place type of thing.
Totally.
I was like shh. The entire time.
I know. Steven kept talking. I'm like, shut up. I'm trying to be quiet because the show is quiet.
Yeah, exactly. It was really well done, but that end scene, I feel like they had to do it as well because like there's a million times we're gonna see someone get ripped apart by a clicker in this show, right? Like a million times.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were like, okay, this is our opportunity to do something just a little bit different, Like we're still gonna scare the audience. We're just gonna scare them in a totally different way.
Yeah. It was unreal. It was unreal.
But did you see as well? I saw on TikTok just after I watched the episode, thankfully. It's like they know. It's a bit too concerning.
Yeah.
But an IGN video popped up and they were like, let's break down why the clicker did that, in a sense. Because in the game, she doesn't actually even get killed by clickers. She got killed by Fedra, in a sense. Fedra was following
her
through
it was
the city
different. It was done differently.
So it was slightly different. But they broke it down. They asked one of the showrunners why they wrote it like that. And he was like, he got interviewed and he was like, okay, so why are the clickers always aggressive? And then the writer was like, well, the thing is they don't always have to be aggressive, right? They can be placid. They can just be fine, because at that stage as well, the cordyceps hasn't fully taken over the brain and hasn't turned him into a clicker. He's still like a sort of an early stage clicker, I guess, and so he was like, there's no reason why they have to be aggressive. They can be nice to a degree. But he said the main reason we felt that they were being aggressive when you played the game or when like you interacted with them in any other way was because you were also aggressive. You were defensive. You were, attacking them back and things like that. And so they were just kind of trying to defend themselves. And so he was like, we came up with this really interesting concept of like, well, what happens if you're not aggressive? If you yourself are quite, you're acceptive of what's going to happen in a way. And so he was like, you're still going to turn into a clicker. You're still going to be, attacked in a way, but it's going to be a nicer way of doing it, And I guess you could say, well, was it that nice? He basically made out with a half undead person, but, it's still probably a bit nicer than having your whole throat ripped apart and your legs, bitten off and things like that. So
I love that they did it because you could just see the fear and you could feel it. And it was like, fuck.
Yeah. But the thing, it just made you uncomfortable
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
You know, like it wasn't a nice thing of like, you know, because like as well, like I'm not a bigger score person, but like if we saw Tess get ripped apart, we'd be like, oh, that's awesome, weird, disgust, like, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
But because I saw her get made out with by a fungal infection, I was like, that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
That
totally.
that is rank, you know. It was just a different type of way to
What
scare
about
us.
that
But I absolutely
scene
loved it.
Where the scientist was asked, like, what do we do?
And just straight up, she's
Bomb
like,
the city. Like,
bomb the fucking thing,
fuck.
get rid of him. That
I
was
didn't,
cold blooded, man. Oh,
but she knew, like, because she's been studying cordyceps
Yeah.
for her
For like
life.
20,
She
30 years
knows
or
what
whatever
will
it was.
happen if
Yeah.
this spreaded. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that moment of like, there is no hope for us. Like, you just have to kill off everyone.
Yeah, I saw someone on Twitter say it as well right afterwards, and I was like, fuck, that's so true. I was like, I hope that every episode they do a cold open to like, for the first 5 minutes, just to showcase progressively how fast it spreads, you know? Because like in episode 1, we saw like the scientists on the talk show talking about, you know, potentially
the global warming.
what would happen if global warming was to get to a certain stage where fungal infections could survive in humans, you know, what would happen? And then we obviously jump forward to 2003 where the thing started to spread. You know, they found out that it does harbor in people. And then next episode we can see just how fast it actually takes over society and how fast things break down and all that sort of stuff. That would be really cool if, you know, they always do that first 5 minutes as just a, you know, set the scene, you know?
Yeah, totally. There was also
again, again, we didn't really get that in the game as well.
No,
we didn't
not
really
at
get to
all.
see progressively how fast it happened. We kind of just saw, okay, it happened. Like, and then we jumped 20 years and we saw Joel in 20 years' time.
Yeah.
But
like,
again, the show kind of has the time. It kind of has the space to flesh that little bit out, you know?
I fully like understand where we are in the game when we start it because of the show, and I love that. The other thing I wanted to mention that the game never mentioned was like, and I don't know if it's the game even had it, but I don't think it did, but the whole connectiveness of cordyceps and those infected, like if you know, stepped on one miles away, someone down, you know, the horde will pick it up. Like that whole connectivity makes sense as well because of the whole like, you know, intro sequence of how it grows and spreads and it's kind of still webbed and connected together.
Yeah.
So cool. So cool.
Well, I mean,
and just adds this like other layer of like fuckedness because you cannot touch anything.
Exactly. Yeah. It's basically just like you have to quarantine yourself and that's it. Like,
so cool.
But I don't think I think that's one of the things they have slightly tweaked about the show to the game.
Because the game you don't really worry about that.
Well, you don't really worry about it, but in the game they have the spores. Do you remember like towards the later stages of the games? They have the spores. Like in the show, they're not going to do the spores, unfortunately, just because you'd be covering their face the entire time with like the mask and a thing, and you wouldn't be able to get Pedro Pascal's beautiful face on your display for an hour and a half every night. But yeah, so I think this is the way that they've kind of worked around it and to still make it just as kind of terrifying as the spores in that they're just in the air, you know, is to make it so that, everything is kind of interconnected in a way, you know?
I love it.
But it's still, like you said, it's just as scary as the spores, I feel, you know? Like the fact that you can breathe anything in and just die or get infected, but the fact that you can step on something and then within 4 minutes have
the whole group
just around the corner from it, you know, it's just
so
it's
cool,
ridiculous.
What a show, man!
It is incredible how they've done it. Like
hats off.
I don't know how any other thing is going to beat this.
I know the bar is so high right now that I don't even think this Siege movie. I have no hope.
Oh, but God, no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mario movie is shaking in their boots right now. I don't even think the Mario movie is going to be able to stand up to this from what I've seen.
Man.
But yeah, it is. It's
what a time to be a gamer, honestly. Like to be able to appreciate what we're watching through a game, but also then see it come to be live action and a really fucking good live action. Like, such a treat. Such a treat.
Is. I honestly, HBO need to get as many props as they are getting for this show because they've at least done it justice.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Well, I'm glad they're the ones who picked it up. I feel like they would have done it justice more than anyone else.
Can't you from Netflix or something like that?
Yeah, no, Netflix will never. Paramount now.
No thanks, bro. Yeah, no thanks.
So good. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, it's just after every episode, I need more. I need
right,
more,
like,
you know?
The slow release hurts, but it's great because of spoilers. Because holy shit, Twitter is on it so quick.
It's good too, because like we got to do this as well. We got to like break it down each week, not even just for the fact that like it's what we do kind of for the podcast, but just a bit of fun. Like I miss the whole going to school and being like, oh, did you see last night's episode of the thing? And just talking about it because everyone's on the same page, and so you can get like 15 people all in a circle just talking about the episode that came out last night. Not 3 people in one circle and then the other 5 people in the other circle because those 3 people have blitzed through it and they're on like the second last episode already. And the other 5 have, only watched the first 5 episodes. Yeah. So it's good. But yeah, nice short one for the week. We're not nearly pushing an hour this time, around half an hour, which is, I'll take it. I'll take it. But before we wrap up, Jenz, was there anything else you wanted to add on before we do end the episode?
No, nothing from me.
Yeah. No, nothing from me either. But as always, I want to thank you guys for listening and thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button. And if you didn't, also hit that like button. But we will see you all next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.